Good afternoon, everyone. This is Jared Rand, and welcome to the Global Guided Meditation Call for Thursday, April 6, 2023, 3:15 p.m. Eastern. We'll be having a reverse aging health call tomorrow night around 9 p.m., and we're going to address some very serious complications that are going on the planet as far as health and the vaccine that have been discovered in clinical testing and evaluation that were not known before. And what are the solutions to them? Find God. This is your mission. You are the center of the universe. Your center is God consciousness. Absolute reality. Perfection. Brahman. This is the only peace that exists. You have absolutely nothing to give up, nothing to surrender, nothing to let go of. You are already liberated. Robert Adams. We are all searching for happiness, whether we want to admit it or not. We are happiness-aholics on a perpetual mission to find that next feeling of joy bubbling up from inside. Deep down inside us is the embedded desire to be content, deeply happy, full of joy, laughter, and feeling truly free. This desire is hardwired and encoded into our brain, bones, and DNA. This deep program has been constantly downloading into our operating system since the day we were born. It will always be here, directing us to do whatever it takes to experience happiness in this lifetime. It is our most conscious and unconscious mission here on the planet, which cannot be destroyed or ever stop functioning on the deepest levels. As humans, we naturally are all great explorers on a spiritual journey. Here, to pierce through life's illusion within the world's polarities. We are doing this human adventure to find our deepest spiritual calling, to find out the divine being we truly are and reach total fulfillment. This Mount Everest is enormous. And so we tend to wobble on our way to finding the top. We swing on life's pendulum to the extremes, just so we may find the middle path and one day relax into our deepest heart and live in the state of peace. Through the task of having to face this physical life and master it, we end up experimenting with all the good, bad, possible ways to live this life. And thus experience the totality of what life is really about. We may try to destroy our bodies, or develop exuberant health, reject the intimacy of a divine relationship, or open our hearts with courage and compassion, become obsessed with making more and more money, or surrender to living in poverty. Whatever pathways we tend to tread, we are destined to experience life and death, doing, thinking, and feeling everything we can imagine along the way, because deep down we desire to become truly happy inside. I find that one of the most fascinating aspects about this life is that you cannot escape from the lessons it wants to teach you. The greatest lesson we are here to learn is how to live a life of happiness. This is a simple path, a truly effortless and enjoyable road, which once we start walking on it, we wonder why we were doing anything else. The ground that makes up this road is foundation of gratitude and appreciation. When we choose gratitude over everything, every thought, belief, and story in our minds, we are choosing to be happy and free. right? With the simple decision to be grateful for what is, we release the need to fixate, change, or be upset about the way things are. We appreciate having a physical body and give it love for how it is, even when it's not how we think it should be. When we accept people for their differences, we are deciding to love them, learn from them, and stop criticizing them. When we allow for our financial state to be what it is, appreciating what we do have, without worrying or wanting it to change, a natural river of abundance flows our way. We can tap into this state of appreciation at any time. And when gratitude takes the steering wheel of each new day, happiness fills our hearts, minds, and souls. When gratitude is the foundation of our lives, we are naturally in love with life and all that it gives. This natural state is not trying to appreciate the people, or things around us. It comes from a place that is much deeper inside of us, which transcends the highs and lows of this physical world. There is a deep trust in existence, that we feel life is the guru and is always showing us the way home. True fulfillment in life is found through the deepest trust. Anytime we get caught up in the mind believing in some wild story that we created, which has a gripping emotion behind it, this deep trust is lost and forgotten. The trust is still there underneath the story, yet simply is being ignored as the foundation of peace. How we truly can love ourselves, which is what creates total fulfillment in this lifetime. There always comes a point along life's journey where we realize that things are not what they appear to be. We start to see through the mind's illusion and discover that everything has its place in this world. The judgments we had about others and ourselves dissolve back into the nothingness from which they came. The beliefs we felt to be so real and true about this world simply have no ground or meaning in our lives anymore. When all our notions about good and bad, right and wrong are transcended, given back to the infinite creative ocean from which they came, then the deepest relaxation can occur. In this place, the greatest truth can be found, and the most profound happiness is discovered. Within this relaxation of mind and that which is beyond mind, our relationship with the most divine reality is born. Total surrender to life is where real, everlasting contentment, joy, and real happiness can be found. When we give up resistance to life, to this life, it can pour into us. Yet it's within this place of divine equanimity with the mind that true peace and happiness is found. When we dive into our most innermost core, entering the deepest feelings we have within our body, we discover the ability to be in balance and not resist anything. We can say yes to everything in life and live our lives as one constant orgasmic state, enjoying every valley and peak along the way. One great secret to arrive in the land of unending happiness is the art of surrender. We must choose to surrender everything we are attached to on our inner world to find true freedom and happiness. We don't necessarily need to change anything at all in our outer world to find happiness inside. The outer world is a mirror reflection of our inner world, and when the inner changes, the outer follows. We must choose to simply do the deepest investigation within ourselves, seeking what are the thoughts and beliefs we still believe are real, and let these go. Having an awareness of what beliefs and thoughts we are attached to is the first step towards liberation. Having an awareness of what beliefs and thoughts we are attached to is the first step towards liberation. After we know what our addictive patterns are, we must choose to then give up our desire and effort to getting beyond them and letting them go. We must choose to surrender this need to fix or change ourselves in any way to find happiness. We must choose to trust that the fire of pure awareness is hot enough to burn through the illusion when attachment arises again and again and again. At the deepest place inside, we must give up our lack of trust in ourselves and know that in each moment, we are the manifestors creating our entire reality. We change our lives instantly by simply shifting our beliefs and thinking, attracting a completely new experience that mirrors our inner world. On the long road through this life, you'll find that a constant state of happiness is found through a deepening, softening, and quieting of the mind chatter. Find the stillness in the eye of the storm. This will bring the greatest clarity into your life. This ultimate stillness is always inside you, always awaiting your visit at the core of your being. It is a very creative journey getting there and requires a mix of divine discipline and radical freedom. We need to be able to point the mind in one single direction while being relaxed and sensually free. We cannot just arrive with a certain mantra, discipline, or spiritual structure. We need access to the most creative parts of our being, which has the most untamed, liberated mind that has no need for rigidity or control. This type of exploration is the ultimate middle path where the mind fully relaxes. It trusts the unending process of this life, and we realize our divine nature in every face and in every form. So we're kind of in a conundrum because we've habituated ourselves to be fixated and attached to the external world. We don't have a clue on how to enter the internal world. Now, the ego mind sets up shop, right? Now, it isn't there when we're babies. As the years go by, it appears. Once we have a personality and a character. Now, the ego mind is a world. It's a realm, okay? The heart mind is a realm. We spend most of our time in yesterday and tomorrow, the ego mind. Very little time in the heart mind. So it's no wonder that we don't gravitate towards the heart mind. When I say surrender or let go, immediately people who are in the control of the heart, of the ego mind, freak out. They don't necessarily have to show it, but they freak out because they believe that because they're in the ego mind, that they're going to lose everything. They identify with the word surrender, letting go, as losing things. Losing things that are temporary. Does that make any sense to any of us? Surrender and letting go, which means you're losing things that are temporary. That's not true. And there are conflicts along the way. Different beliefs, always. But when you live in the ego mind realm, you suffer every day, as long as you stay in the grips and control that the ego mind has over you, and yesterday and tomorrow. You're always worried about losing something or not having something. And you're always stressing, fearing, have anxiety, doubt, lack of faith, lack of confidence, lack of trust. And for some reason, people have been taught, well, yeah, you enter the heart mind, you're going to lose everything. You're going to become impoverished. Why would that be? All right? Doesn't make any sense, does it? Yeah, the heart mind, you begin to understand the ego mind. You begin to understand to stay in the now, focus on the breath. And you also begin to understand that you can manifest anything. Doesn't matter what it is, really, right? So you can manifest it. And by going into the heart mind, your direction isn't to destroy, harm, hurt, or defile anything or anyone through this manifestation. So you manifest and you experience it. Now you know, as time goes by and you're committed and devoted to the heart mind, then you direct the ego mind. See, it gets to the point where you're directing the ego mind. The ego mind feels satisfied on that direction, feels secure. So you stay in that direction. Then you start recognizing that the universe sends you things, right? Now they don't necessarily, you manifest things and they don't necessarily come to you as you would believe, right? It's like you manifest a house or something that you want like that, and your thinking is that, well, I manifest this house so it's going to appear somewhere, or I know of this house that I want, or this property that I want, and so that's going to manifest for me. Or it could mean that the universe sends you the appropriate monies to buy it through some form of action that you need to take in order to open it up for you to receive it. Okay? And it's, when you say focus on what you want, not what you don't want, that's not easy for a lot of people, because they're used to focusing on what they don't want, because it's out of fear. And they're constantly saying, you say it yourself when you're in a conversation, how you don't want this or you don't want that. But you're not, you see, you're not in the heart mind, you're in the ego mind, you're not really thinking about it. And so like attracts like. Whatever mode you're in, you're going to get more and more and more and more and more and more and more of. So this is all discovery. And so people say, well, what if I don't go into the heart mind? What if I just stay in the ego mind? Well, that's your choice. And you're giving the universe permission to give you more suffering. It is kind of crazy. On the flip side, you surrender because you want to surrender. What are you surrendering? You're letting go of all the ego mind concocted things, right? You're letting go of all the things that haunt you or that are, kind of on you, that you worry, stress, and fear about. You let them go. You're just not interested in them. So you face off with them and they're gone. And no matter how many come into the room, you face off with each one of them, they're gone. And you'd be amazed when you leave the mind alone, when you leave it alone, that means you're leaving the ego mind alone. And you're stepping outside and watching it, and you're staying in the now through the breath. It literally begins to start saying, I'm not being needed. What do you mean you're not being needed? I'm not being needed. No. I no longer have mastership over them because they've chosen to go within themselves. And they've chosen to stay in the now. That's why the ego mind doesn't exist in the now. But as we go on this journey, which we've been on a very long time, which is infinite, we discover things that pop up. And we start understanding things. It's like if someone, they're afraid of losing something. It's a material thing, whatever. And they lose it. Because like attracts like. You worry about losing something, you're going to lose it. Because you're focused on it. It's not the worry so much as the focusing on it. The haunting. But then as you go along, you begin to discover that it's all temporary stuff. I'm not going to use it forever. I won't be here forever. So everything that I bring into my life will eventually go to someone else's life. Because I'll leave this body. Then, see, here's where it all starts to come together. Well, how is that? You become more in the now because you choose to be. You start to practice it more and more. And you really like the avenues of it. And you continue to practice it more and more. And then you start looking from the outside in. And you discover that all of this is temporary. So you learn, right? And but see, then it changes because when you decide to become immortal and the body immortal, then you got a long time. Then you could gather knowledge where you are infected with God that you are. You understand. You convert you are. You pray God that you are. You discover things along the way. You say, I'm not interested in being attached to anything. Of course, social structure, that's an identity. You get identity, and you don't care. Or you fear that you're attached to something that you may lose it, and you'll be very upset. There goes all these different things. But the brain is that when you think so then you lose them. You're not devastated. You say, well, I have temporarily enjoyed it. I'm deeply grateful for that. And that's across the board. We always will get attached to certain things that are nostalgic. Why? Because the energy draws us. The energy imprint of whoever it was that had that which you desire and then you have. Heirloom, a family memory of an item or something that you are drawn to because you're drawn to that essence, the fingerprint that's left behind of the one who had it. And it does have magical properties, and it does do things. It's different, okay? You know why? Because of the energy you give it. And here's something that people don't, on this planet, really don't connect with. Again, it's something that they blow off or think that it's cuckoo. But magic exists on this planet. Magic is real. And like anything, you've got dark magic, you've got light magic. And it's kind of like you shift into magic. And this is how effortless it is. And you create things. You manifest them. And you know exactly why you want to create them in your life. They have a purpose. It may just be a purpose of you enjoying or receiving and then teaching and learning at the same time with whatever it is that you've manifested into your life. Now, is it that we don't have a care in the world, and nor are we interested in what? With this planet. We're not interested in war. We're not interested in conflict. That's the majority of the civilization. There are the exceptions that are accustomed and trained to be in a constant murder, death, kill state. Right? They've lost themselves. And that's a lot of karma, and they will eventually have to pay that karma. That's a big deal. We're all magicians because we can create anything we desire and we can make it appear. And we know that we have a best friend in the universe, this universe. And so we send a clear, conscious, loving, focused, detailed desire out to the universe. And then what? We already know that it's on its way. But we don't say, well, I'm getting this, so I'm going to do this now. And then get ourselves into a sticky wicket. What we do say is that it'll be here and appropriate timing for things to move forward. Now, this is all preparatory, okay? All of these meditations to date have been preparatory. And what does that mean? It means to prepare you to go more and more within before all of this happens. And you don't have expectations about it, but you've learned through different exposures not to interrupt yourself or it. Not to interrupt. Because we know, we've been there, all of us have been there, none of us exempt from it. The ego mind comes in real sneakily, and it starts dismantling your intention. And it rationalizes everything. And then you say, oh, geez, maybe it won't happen. And that immediate doubt negates the whole thing, collapses it, and you never do receive it. When we see, and we all, it's always there, every one of us, at any moment. We can become overwhelmed, or we can start, without knowing, it's not like we're consciously aware of it, but we fall into the lower doldrum. Something triggers it. Could be anything. And then we start getting depressed and down, worried, stressed, and fearful, not knowing where we're going. People say, are they going to have enough money where they'll be able to pay their bills? Will they be able to give a roof over? And it just keeps going and going and going. Rather than letting it go, giving it to the God that you are, and leave it be. It's only when we give things attention do we create. So it's like you focus on the now, you're going to be in the now. Okay? What was the first step? Go to a place where you aren't going to be interrupted. it's comfortable to you, start to focus on your breath. Stay focused on the breath at all times. And you won't, this is what's interesting, you slowly, okay, will come out of your comfort zone. Not a lot, just a little bit here, a little bit there. And you'll start going, I like this in the now. I like this. It's enjoyable. It isn't stressful for me. I like being in it now. All right? And you eventually get to the point of understanding with clarity that now you're in the now all the time. You're in now all the time. No one, no thing is in command of you. The only thing that's in command of you is you. Period. So you focus, it's almost like a laser beam, right? You focus on the direction that you desire. You focus on what it is you want to materialize. You focus on your confidence, your trust, your faith in yourself. And you direct that beam into the God that you are, which then communicates with the universe, which then within minutes, you have it. And at the same time, you know that it's temporary. Okay? Now it's interesting because it's a fine line for us. Say you fall in love with someone and they fall in love with you. And you know, right, that the deep and true love is the God that you are within you, that you are. And it's the highest love. So when you physically, materially love another and you become attached, right, and then you start having expectations of them, what happens? It's a bumpy road. It usually ends in the relationship. But if you're of the understanding is you enjoy their company and you enjoy their interaction as long as they are there. And when the time comes when they aren't there, you are not devastated. See, it's all connected. So the body dies and people freak out in a lot of cases because the God that was in that body is now no longer in that body. So, it's interesting. I'll give you an example. There's pictures and videos taken on this planet all the time of these really super bright balls of light. Okay? Some have been seen at really low, right to almost ground level in cornfields doing crop circles and messages and having fun. There's others that people think are starships. They're not. They're souls. They're gods that were once in physical form and are no longer. This is part of the disintegration of the veil of deception of this quadrant of the galaxy and the illusion of separation. Now, it's funny. Do you believe that you would, like you're talking to a friend of yours, right? Verbally. Now, do you believe that you would verbally talk with this soul, this God? Or would you connect on a much deeper level? I think in many cases, not all cases, but many cases, we would connect at a much deeper level by feeling them. And the only thing that is permanent is the God that you are in the body. So we collect things along the way and reminisce and recapture things, but eventually it just keeps dropping away, making room for new things to come in. It's like this morning when I was using my blender for my morning smoothie, I noticed that I couldn't release pressure. It was literally sealed there. And I'm sitting there and I was going, what is wrong with this? What's going on with it? And I remember there's one little silicone part that fits on the center top cap. And it gets clogged with some of the debris within the mixture. And eventually it plugs up the 3 holes, which give it the release of air pressure and circulation. But then I knew, okay, I'm going to take a toothpick and I'm going to clear out those 3 holes. And it'll work like new. And that's exactly what happened. In a lot of cases with us, we don't know. See? We do not know. So we're not consciously aware. What does that mean? It means that it'll pull you in deeper of unsureness, distrust, lack of faith, and confidence. And what takes that away from us a lot of the times is that we allow in the ego mind to worry about what other people think and what other people say and what their opinion is of you. Stops us in our tracks because we're mastered by the ego mind. Instead of saying, I am not concerned about how and what people think of me. I am concerned of spreading my light and communing with the God that I am within this body. This is part of my journey. So I really don't care what they say, do, or think. Then you will know that you're free. That's one of the simplest identifiers that you could actually experience. That's then you'll know that you are free. And isn't that what we all want? Freedom? And then you say, I'm going to focus my energies on the life I want to live. And I'm deeply grateful for the very moment I'm in. But what kind of life do I care to live? This is the confidence, the faith, and the trust that comes in. Not ego mind, but heart mind. And you say, what is it? What kind of life do I choose to live? And then once you've figured it out, the type of life, right? It may take you a bit, okay? Then you can literally focus on it, send it to the universe, and leave it alone. And slowly but surely, and stay in high vibrational frequency, attitude of gratitude, and deeply eternal, loving, kind, generous, and humble to oneself, and it'll come. Things will start shifting and working and moving. You'll find yourself in distant areas, different positions, and you'll start going within. And these things will come in. When you're happy, genuinely happy, not faking it, you're going to get more happy. That's a sure given. When you're unhappy, worried, stressed, and fearful, you're going to get more of it. So you look at yourself and you say, I don't really care to continue to feed that ego mind external life. I care and gravitate towards discovering the God that I am within this body. In order to do that, I'm going to stay focused on my breath and live in the now. All that, well, living in the now means this. You don't think about tomorrow. And you sure as heck don't think about yesterday. It isn't there. You're not worried about tomorrow and you're not worried about yesterday because it's not there. The ego mind doesn't exist there in the now. And so by you being in the now, the ego mind is cut off. And you can say to yourself, I'm going to watch the ego mind. I have no interest in judging it. I want to watch the ego mind to see what it does and how it operates so I know how I can master it. See, these are steps for all of us. And then you get to the step where you've decided to master the ego mind by watching it, by stepping out and leaving it alone. And without prejudice, without any kind of judgment, you watch it and you learn from it. And you practice. And this is an ego mind thought. I'm not interested in engaging in it, right? And usually ego mind thoughts are absolutely wild. They're off the charts. They're absolutely out there. Nothing that you would regularly think about or conjure up. Really, seriously. And it gets your attention just shortly. Shortly you go, what? And then now you identify it and you say, that's an ego mind thought. I'm not going to engage. I'm not interested in engaging in it. And we constantly look at these thoughts and everything and say, yeah, that one looks good. That one I'll engage with. Knowing that it's ego mind created. But more and more as we travel within and stay within, step by step, all of this pain, suffering, worrying, stressing, and fearing are gone. They just leave. They're not there. And you notice that you're not thinking. You're really not thinking. You're just being. You have no interest in tomorrow or yesterday. Because now you know. You've discovered through the God that you are. You don't have any idea that yesterday or that tomorrow will come. So that's why, see, most of us are off into yesterday or tomorrow. We're doing something, right? So you're doing something. And you wander off into already thinking about what you're going to be doing tomorrow while you're focused on doing in the moment. And to see that conflict is that the ego mind tries to pull you into tomorrow. And you say to yourself, I'm not interested in tomorrow. Tomorrow hasn't even come. I have no guarantees that it will come. So I focus on the now. I can guarantee you every single time, anybody that focuses on the ego mind, yesterday and tomorrow, will leave the body not knowing who and what they are. Every single time, without fail. So in the event you choose not to practice and not to go within, to stay in the ego mind, the material physical world, and the worry, stress, and fear that comes with the material physical world, then you're not going to discover who and what you are. You're going to reincarnate again. You're going to do the same thing again. It may take 10,000 lifetimes before you figure it out. But see, this is such a massive shift. And everything in our favor to go within, to discover the gods that we are within these bodies. And everything is turned upside down. And who did that? Who's doing that? Is it some being outside? No. It's our collective consciousness. It's all of us. It's all of us starting to gravitate more towards what? A happy life. That's it, a happy life. A happy life for you. It doesn't have to be exactly like, Bill, Jane, Bob, but the happy life that you desire for you. And people say, well, how can that happen? And everybody has their own happy life, and they're all, together. How can that be? Because to you, okay, Lewis over here is enjoying a happy life. You are enjoying a happy life, but it isn't Lewis's life, it's yours. This is how it happens. but you're both happy. And you know that whenever you want something or desire something, the universe will send it in as long as your vibrational frequency is focused and on a high level. It's like loving yourself on a consistent basis or hating yourself. You hate yourself, you get more of that. Fill you with hate. The universe will. You love yourself, the universe will keep bringing in more love, people, things, interactions. To the people that you desire to be around will start showing up in your life. This really isn't a deeply complicated understanding. I focus on my breath. I go into the now. I stop pain and suffering for myself. Okay? I focus on my breath. I go into the now. I stop my pain and suffering. Wow, that sounds like a heck of a formula. I believe that I want to do that until I've mastered it, and then I'll continuously do it. So there can be millions and billions of us all living lives that we desire to live, the lives that we want to live, and being grateful for the very moment we're in. And at that stage, you will experience the most grandest, glorious event. You will then understand that everything you desire will come to you effortlessly rather than you chasing it. I'll join you in the meditation, and I'll return to close us out. Take an easy and slow breath in through the nose. And an easy and slow breath out from the mouth. Remain still. There's a great message for you today. Not necessary in this communication, yet found out in nature. In the forest, where the breeze can touch your face and communicate with you. When you're out in nature, listen to wind. Notice that what sound it makes when it moves through the trees, bends them in the direction it's going. Whenever the wind blows, stop and pay close attention. Know that whatever you resist only weakens you. Know that whatever you resist only weakens you. Let those inner branches of your mind move and flow with wind moving through it every day. And soon, you'll see all the many deep, eternal loving that were already heading your way. All greatness comes from letting go of this subtle resistance to life. Take this with you for the rest of the day, into the evening and night and the following morning. We will return here Friday, April 7th, 2023, 3:15 p.m. Eastern, to continue our global guided meditation call, and 9 p.m. Eastern to continue our reverse aging health call. Be gentle, kind, generous, and humble with yourself at all times. Be in the deepest, deepest, deepest of eternal gratitude at all times, no matter what is going on around you.